Okay. Well, welcome everybody. This is us, two psychic moms, aka two psychic moms, Tammy and Julie. And we come to you when we have questions. When you submit questions to us to tap into with our guides and bring answers to you. So do you want to introduce us first and then we'll talk about questions?
So as Julie said, we're two psychic moms. Thanks for viewing. And if you like what we give you here, please do like and share and subscribe if you haven't done so already. So thank you to the ones who have. And we love to, like Julie said, we like to work with questions. So, obviously general questions that, pertain to everybody would be great. We're both open for or available for private sessions, and you can reach me at tammysintuitive.com, my website there, and I do have some channel messages on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, so you can check those under Tammy's Intuitive Services. And you can find Julie
at bizpsychic.com or juliehawkins.com for private readings. And here right now for channeled messages, I haven't gotten it together to really go back and do it on my other YouTube channel. Just haven't gotten to do that lately. And I just like this format. I like that Tammy and I work together. So I don't know, maybe I'll start doing more channeled messages privately when I get them. I don't know. We'll see. Watch for them. Anyway, we do really appreciate your support. It benefits everybody. Okay. So we have questions from Daphne about animals. If you could see what I see, all I see is a tail, half a tail behind my monitor. And the rest of the cat disappeared, but now he's down. Felix.
Yay, Felix.
Felix. Felix, come on, maybe. Anyway, so appropriate. So we're going to talk about questions about pets. So you want to read it and you go, or how about if I read it and you go first, and then
either way, we'll tune in as you're reading it, so we can get you a channeled message here from Julie and I. All right, I'm ready for the question.
So her background is, she says we know it's the norm to spay and neuter our animals to keep down pet overpopulation. But she wants to know really how do they feel about it? And so her questions are, she wants to know what are their perspectives on being neutered or spayed. And she says, I also feel guilty depriving them of the very basic right to reproduce and bring life into the world. Do our pets mind? Do they resent us? Should we get their consent first? And how do we get their consent? As usual with Daphne, you ask really full questions and I just love it. So thank you so much. Yep. So do you want me to repeat any of that for you?
I have it here as well, so if I need to go to that, but yeah, echoing what Julie said, thank you, Daphne. Really good questions. These are really good because we don't always think about this. And like you said, is it the right thing to do? Should we be taking away that? It's going to be interesting to see what our guides say. So with that, I'm just going to kind of just piece it for myself here. Okay. Okay, so what guides do you think are the perspectives of the animals as far as being spayed and neutered? First of all, from your perspective, guides, what do you think? Do you think it's something we should be doing for the animal population, overpopulation, and what do we think? Well, I'm hearing it's necessary sometimes, and for good reason, yes. That's just how they said it. Yes. Now, there's going to be situations where somebody purposely wants to, in their home where it's safe to do so, and maybe they are able to care for the animals, to allow an animal, so to speak, to not be spayed or neutered and to reproduce and have puppies or kittens, and that's okay too. But certainly, they are saying it does help in many ways the planet to have a little bit more of a control on this. There is nothing they're telling me there is nothing that is wrong with making that decision to do so. So I think you said in here, Daphne, too, kind of wondering if the cats, the animals should get some sort of like, should get their permission, basically. Yeah, like you said, Daphne, there's really good reasons for millions of pets are put to sleep because there are not enough homes for them. May I know what are the pets' perspectives of being neutered or spayed? I'm being told that they understand too. Obviously, as our guides often say with animals, please do talk to them. If you're planning on doing this, have a verbal communication with your pet prior to them being spayed or neutered, and as well as a telepathic conversation with them. They will appreciate the conversation. This is true for anything that you're going to take them to the vet, have a conversation with them. They do appreciate that. So their perspective is, yes, of course, they don't like going through the trauma of, going to the vet, much like none of us really like going to the doctor or having surgery or whatever that is. That is true for them as well, although they understand if it has been put into perspective for them, the reasons behind that. And many of them are on board with it from our what we see. Okay, so like Daphne says that, she might feel a little bit guilty of depriving them of a very basic right to reproduce and bring life into the world. Well, we understand the emotion behind it, although they really do not see it that way. In fact, you can put the guilt, at the door. They're like saying at the front door or at the door. You really don't need to worry about it, and you don't need to hold on to the guilt. We would emphasize again, as long as you are communicating with your animal prior to why the reasons are and what you think, the animal is often anyway in agreement with going through this experience. So you see, from a soul perspective, it is not completely surprised. And if they are if they are going through the experience, that means there has been an agreement from their end. So really, again, you don't really need to worry too much about that. Do our pets mind? Not really. Only in the way that they don't like going to the vet, again, as we were saying, right? Who likes any of that kind of stuff? But no, do they mind? And do they understand the reasonings? Yes, they do, is what I'm getting. Do they resent us for it? I think that's a great question. Do they resent us for taking them in and having them spayed or neutered? I'm getting no. I'm just getting flat no. And should we get their consent first? No. But you can let them know what you're going to be doing, as we keep repeating. How do we get their consent? If that's the case, no, they're telling me no, you don't need to get their consent, but you see, they're already consenting because again, this is not coincidental that this is happening while there are other pets who are reproducing. They just happen to not be one of those pets or coming into this lifetime, understanding they would not be doing that. So really, we think all in all, there are different reasons. Some people will be doing it, some will not. And it's okay if you do. And that your pets are actually okay if you do. So that is the gist of what I'm getting. And Julie, what would you like to add to that?
There's not a lot for us to add. The only other thing that we would add is that it's always just about communicating your love to them and for them. They've made that agreement to be with you, and your human responsibility is to care for them. And that agreement entails being spayed or neutered, and it's okay. Mm-hmm. They don't have the conscious reasoning that humans have. So they're not going, oh no, I can't have babies. They, that's the call of the wild. And most animals that we have, cats or dogs or bunnies or whatever, it's our responsibility to care for them. And as such, then that means caring for them in a healthy way. That means not reproducing. So it really, there isn't really much more to add than that. And the consent is implied because they have come into your care. And your responsibility is to care for them. And so you do what you do to make sure that that happens to the best of your ability. So yeah, I think that's all we would add. You said it very well.
Okay,
And
that's great.
yeah.
Yeah. And again, just really good questions, right?
I know, brilliant, brilliant questions. Yeah, they just don't reason the way we do.
Right.
Doesn't mean they don't feel. They feel great love, great compassion, great distress, great grief. They feel fear, a wide range of emotions. But they don't feel the loss of something they never had an experience of. So,
Right.
or even if they have, again, if they're in your care, that agreement has been made on a level that is either unspoken, non-spoken, on an energetic level, or just was done in a non-physical form before you both incarnated to be with each other. So.
And Julie, I love what you say about the love, because actually, here's another, I don't know if there's a spin on this or what we could say, but we had a cat that was in our backyard, and it was TNR, the trap neuter release. And it was difficult for us humans because we would hear her cry for her baby. She'd already had her babies, by the way. It was, one of those kinds of things. She was not really feral. She's a really sweet cat. She's actually with my sister now, living with her, happily. But it would tug at my heartstrings when she was released back and I would hear her calling for her babies. But what I feel like is what you were saying, Julie, is that it is that, like I said, the call of the wild. This is her natural instinct, to wonder where her babies were. So I was most definitely sending her telepathic, communication that they are safe. They're in a better place right now because they'll be able to find homes. But I agree with what Julie is saying about that. Love is so important, that you are wrapping them in that and they feel good about that. So my guides, when I ask that and say, what was she really feeling? She was in her instincts is how they're telling me, but basically, yeah, that call of the wild, right? That's what she does. But she was understanding because she was being loved and she was being communicated to that all was well. And so, yeah, anyway, I thought I just mentioned that because,
it's interesting. So I have 8 cats and they're all of feral descent, we'll say. Some more feral than others. However, the mama kitty of Theo, Oscar, and Fiona, to think about that. I think I may have mentioned in the past, she came in one day and she was bleeding and I had to rush her to the emergency room and COVID, and God, it was a real mess. Anyway, I made it very clear to her, you can't go out anymore. I can't have that. I don't know whether she was in a fight or what happened, but she did lose a tooth. And then I built them a catio, which they actually love. They love being out there in the sun. And she loves me. She loves rubbing up against me. She loves me to kitty massage her and pet her and love her. And she's really, after a week or so of balking, she's really happy to be inside and have access to the catio, because she knows the bond is so deep between us, and it's okay. She's like, I'm okay with it. So they really do. Love is the answer.
Yeah, it is. If they understand it. You know what I get with her, Julie, is that it's that love that you're saying, and that she really understands. I feel like she understands and gets it on a soul level, energy level, that you want her safe as well. Yes. And that is like, yeah, that's like, oh, okay. Yep.
So, and she's just, I just adore her too. I love them all in very different ways. Anyway, so yeah, good questions, Daphne. Thank you so much. So we have I'll call it a topic with a question within it. So I have a friend, I've mentioned him, who brings me lots of really interesting topics and questions. And he sent me an email about, he said he saw a picture of a young girl in Myanmar. And he doesn't know her, didn't know anything about her. It impacted, he could feel the energetic connection so deeply, it impacted him so deeply that he wanted to know, why do I feel so deeply about this girl that I have know nothing about, right? And so he asked another psychic that he works with, and then she referred him to another site. Oh, whoops, I don't want to do that. Hold on a second, you guys. And so he came to me and he said, I want your take on it. And I said, okay, well, let me open up and talk with them. And so the question is about something that has been called living multiple simultaneous lives. I don't know if you've heard that. And it talks about the soul's journey and how you can have multiple souls living, or your soul living in multiple bodies. And that his connection to her was that it was I don't remember exactly what she said it was about their connection, but that maybe it was another lifetime that he, honestly, I don't want to get it wrong, but it was something about another lifetime that his soul was living in connection with this girl. Okay. So the question is about, or the topic is about, what he has phrased concurrent soul lives, or simultaneous, living multiple simultaneous lives. And their viewpoint is that your soul can be living in 5 different bodies at the same time. And as soon as I heard that, and my guides went, yeah, no. Okay. So do you have enough information, Tammy, to talk about that? Because then I don't want to taint it or influence it with what my guide said, but then they will tell you what they said.
Sure.
Do you have more information?
Yeah, so it sounds to me like it's a parallel lives. I've always thought of it as like, are we living parallel lives? Would you say that's the same, Julie, of what his question was?
Well, the question is really about the soul now.
Okay.
And so when I answered it through my guides, we started with the conversation about how the soul works. And that is very different, what my guides have told me for years, than what is commonly accepted out there. And I never had an attachment one way or the other to what other people said or what my guide said. I just the messenger, right? Mm-hmm. So maybe if I explain a little bit of what I got, and then we'll talk about the soul as well. What they told me is it's not really about the soul living concurrent lives. It's about how your energy, your consciousness can expand to go out and be in other places at different times. Okay. And so maybe we're splitting hairs. Maybe we are. I don't know. Did that help? And then I'll.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So, okay. So I do want to ask again. So you're saying he saw a picture of somebody. Is that right? He saw a picture and he was really drawn to this person. He does not know them though, in this lifetime, at least. Okay.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah. We're in, for what I get, we're in agreement with what you say too, Julie. And, the idea can be living, I'm going to use it as parallel lives, because that's kind of how I've heard it before, where, yeah, you wonder, why do I have this strong attachment to somebody? We could call it past lives. I say past lives / parallel lives, because we don't really know for sure if it's past, or if it's something you're sort of experiencing on some different level energetically somewhere else, kind of like you were saying. So yes, the soul can experience a lot of different things at one time, is what I'm hearing. And they can experiment, they're even saying. Go out there and experiment, and also be able to visit many lifetimes that you have actually lived. And you might bring in, they're giving me deja vu, which is interesting. So deja vu, I mean, my theory always was that you're getting a nudge back to something that you've experienced before, because it is that feeling. Most people say, like, I've been here before. It's that weird feeling, like, I don't know why, but that was weird. I knew it was going to happen. Because you've already had the experience, or sometimes it's through a dream, that you've already dreamt it, but you didn't bring it back to full consciousness, and then it plays out, and then it's familiar, right? So we would say it's not so much that the soul has gone into a different, or it splits up that way. It's more, as you were saying, Julie, that there is an experience that the soul is able to have. Your accumulation of many lifetimes, if we want to put it that way, many experiences, you're an accumulation of that. So you will have experiences that nudge you and give you a reminder. So if he's looking at the picture and he sees this picture, you're recalling a moment in time, what they just said. A moment in time where you did have a connection with this person. It's not coincidental you saw the picture. Even that's not coincidental. And you had that experience, right? Yeah. So, and they're referencing, how do I want to word it, of what they're showing me or just giving me? It's kind of like they're just impressing upon me, is what I like to say, that it's something that we know sounds mind-boggling to you. So we're not going to explain it more than that, because it's like, we don't have the terminology almost for it, just wait till you get there, wait till you're back home and you're like, oh yeah, okay, I get it. And so they give us little pieces of it the best they can to explain it. But I do feel, yeah, if it's the question whether, as you were saying, Julie, that the soul actually can divide, I'll just say like divide. We don't say it divides. I'm posing that question to them. We say, they're having something fun. They said, and conquer. They're going to call the divide and conquer. They were joking with themselves. They were just dry humor there. But they're saying it more that you are able to go out and experience other things and have that recall at times where it comes back.
I think one of the things that we need to talk about is what the soul is. So we're going to start with that. And we have talked about it before. And we think that some of this comes from eons ago, of channeled information, of information organized and promoted by religions, and and just kind of a bubble of information that gets, oh, well, that sounds good, we'll use that, okay? Because I think I posed a question once, and I can't remember what the question was, but I think people were coming to me and they were asking, how does my soul evolve? And how do I find my soul's purpose? And my guides kept telling me, it is not about your soul evolving or finding a purpose. Your soul is perfect as it is. Mm-hmm. You come into lifetimes to evolve. It is the human evolution that you seek, not a soul evolution. Your soul is, and so what we say is we see the soul as a sort of a vehicle. They've given me the metaphor of a canoe with many different oars on it. And the lifetimes are the oars, or the potential of human lifetimes, okay, which are really unlimited. And so your soul can expand to accommodate those lifetimes. So the boat can get bigger. And, oh, let's add another oar. So there's another lifetime. Okay. So what they're saying is the soul in and of itself is an energetic vehicle that is perfect as it is. It came from source. It is here to serve you and your human iterations and incarnations. And when all of that is said and done, and everybody agrees that that is over with, then your soul may evolve into some other form of energetic being or go back to source, or because it's energy. It's just a form of energy. So that's where we start with that. And if you go with that premise that the soul is a vehicle, not having to evolve, it is already in a state of perfection. And it holds that space, and it holds that it holds the promise for you as a human so that you can grow and evolve and expand as a human. And it holds that potential of all that is and all that you want to be and strive to be and desire to be. Okay. As far as being in multiple places, your soul doesn't necessarily, they're saying it doesn't necessarily have a home as you would think of a home. It doesn't reside in a temple. It doesn't, it can be part of a soul pod, they're saying. It can be used in different ways. It's almost like a piece of clay that can be molded and used as you need it to be used. If you need to be connected with other people in certain lifetimes, it may go and be part of a soul pod, or bring your energy to meet another human's energy, and that might be considered a soul pod. So what we mean by that is, for instance, this person, your friend, my friend, and this young girl, he may have connected with her energetically on a soul pod level at some point, either in a previous lifetime, maybe they met in a group of souls or lifetimes. All of those things are possible and likely. And their connection his connection to her felt so immediate because he has met her before. His energy has met her energy before. Not necessarily soul to soul, although that could happen. But his soul isn't living another life with her. Their energies have connected. Their consciousness has connected. Previous lifetimes and future lifetimes may have connected and may connect again. The potential is there for that. That is about the human experience and the expansion and growth that we come into being as humans to experience. Some people are on that very low vibration and they never really even wonder about things like that or feel sensitive to things like that. And some are on that level where they're like, I feel this so deeply and I don't know how to explain it. And so that's what we want you to understand. Yes, you have a connection with her. It may be many lifetimes past and it may be many lifetimes future. It is an energetic connection where you may have shared that energy in connection to your lifetime's growth, your lifetimes of growth. And in that case, your souls will have come in contact with each other. Wow. Okay.
Mhm.
Anything you want to add to that?
No, I just think, yeah, I mean, my sense is I do believe in past lifetimes. I do believe that there's past lifetimes slash parallel lifetimes. And that definitely, um, as Julie was saying, if anything else is energetically, you most likely have been connected before. If you're not always connected, aren't we all one? As as is said, I suppose, right? So yeah, I mean, when people ask me questions like that in a session, I will usually look to see what plays out for me as a picture of a lifetime together, and I always get something. I mean, I don't conjure it up myself. I just open up to it and let it start playing out in my mind's eye. Um,
I, I
and
think
so,
I think what he was asking was,
yeah,
am I having a lifetime with this young girl in her country while I'm also having a lifetime here? I will be somebody else. I might be her father or her sister.
right,
Or
that
her
parallel lives kind of idea. Then basically, um, you could be. That's what I'm hearing. You could be. I think it's different for everybody, and like I was saying, I get this as it's such a deep topic that it's a bit hard to even decipher it. But that's what I heard is you could be.
So we want to talk a little bit about what we'll call, or what you call, parallel lives, or as when somebody dies and it's like, how can you talk to them if they've already reincarnated into another human being? And so it's really like an echo. You are speaking to, here's what they're showing me. It's like a slice of their energy,
Yeah.
a shadow, an echo. They gave me a slice of their energy. And so you can communicate with that slice of energy, because that energy stays with you, that person. But when they reincarnate into another human being, they're another human being. Yes, they are the culmination or the sum of all those reincarnations or incarnations, and all of that energy they continue to bring with them. But that energy can be split and can go in different places at different times. And it's kind of like how you talked about, how your guys talked about how the angels work, the archangels work, how they can be everywhere at once because there are like echoes of them.
Mhm.
So it's kind of the same principle.
Yeah.
And so you may be experiencing an echo of a lifetime that you had with her.
Mhm.
So that's what we would say about that
Yeah.
parallel lifetime or reincarnation or deja vu. It's, yeah, we are all one, right? And so it's not unusual to connect with somebody and that you've shared some sort of energetic interaction with, and
Right.
feel connected to them in some way,
Mhm.
even
Mhm.
though you've never met them before.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like what we've all experienced where, you see a stranger, and you're like, do I know you? I
Yeah.
feel like I've known you forever. Everybody's had that, right? Yeah, well, you kind of
So
have.
hopefully that was a little bit more information about that. And sometimes it boils down to language and labels and what makes sense to you. And that's really all that matters. We're answering the question that you posed. And if it can't make sense to you, then take it and have it make sense the way it makes sense. But that's what they gave me. I don't have the imagination to make that up, so that I can tell you.
Yeah. Right.
All righty. So I
Yeah.
think that's it for today,
I think
right?
it is.
Yeah, and hopefully if that sparks any other questions, please send them to us, because that's the whole point, is to continue the conversation and to go as deep as they'll let us go to give you information that they think that you can understand.
Right. Right. Yes, we welcome. There's a plethora of questions out there, right? So you just have to think about it. And we really do like to be able to do this for you and have topics
Yep.
to channel on. So do send them to us. Put them in the comments or however you want to do it. Send it to Julie or I or
on our YouTube page.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. Oh, so I didn't say today is Tuesday, April 26th. It doesn't really matter probably because it'll get posted, I don't know, tonight or tomorrow.
Yeah.
And yeah, so thank you so much. And of course, as always, of course, we're available for private readings and those questions.
Yes. Thanks again, everybody.
Anything else
We
that
appreciate that.
we're good?
Yep, we're good. All right, take care. We'll see you next time.